Hey everybody, I'm Ken Wisnefski. I'm the founder and CEO of WebiMax. I'm joined here by Sean O'Donnell and Ed Cilurso, who've been working with me here at WebiMax for quite some time. And I appreciate everybody taking the time to join us today to talk about something that I think has a lot of value and something that I think is one of the scenarios that people often don't understand how much it's impacting their business and ultimately our title for today, which is what is your reputation costing you and how it's really impacting your business. So thanks for being here with us. A little bit about our background and my background is really, we came to find out and really learn the reputation management process, from the ground up. Going back to around 2010, we faced a bit of a crisis ourselves. We're a fast growing business. We were hiring a lot of people and getting a lot of buzz. And, we had a candidate who had applied and did not get the position, and they were very upset about it. And with that, they went online and they really attacked us. And, at the time, we didn't really understand the reputation industry is because there really wasn't one. Things were really just growing at that point. So our initial thought was to utilize legal services, to do all these things. And, admittedly, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this problem to really just come back to the notion that we were able to fix it ourselves. And at the end of the day, all it really took was getting to a point where we ended up speaking with the candidate and just kind of worked things out. It was really just a misunderstanding. And from that point, we really got to understand how that could really impact you and how that could really impact your process. Having some sort of crisis or something that was really going on within your business can really be something that impacts your business. And sometimes it impacts you in ways that you're not even sure of. The next slide really just talks a little bit about some of my background in WebMax's background. Obviously, I alluded to time in 2010, but we've been around for 17 plus years, and all the strategies and the aspects that we have in place are things that we've learned from the ground up. I started my first digital business in 2001, and over the course of that time, I've made so many mistakes and so many different aspects along the way that one of the things that I think we provide as a company that really helps is the fact that we've seen mistakes made. We've seen where companies have taken, the right turn when they should have turned left. And our biggest aspect is really being able to help companies navigate the right approach and being able to help them solve all sorts of digital problems. And one of the biggest ones that is really an issue today across the board is the reputation management side. This is, kind of the pat myself on the back slide a little bit. It gives you an opportunity to see, some of my experience from some of the TV interviews I do, to the opportunity to work with some celebrities along the way with their digital marketing efforts. But it gives you an idea of the fact that, across the board, no matter what size your business or what size kind of your celebrity, all businesses and all companies are really always looking for ways to really grow their visibility online and ultimately protect their reputation. At the end of the day, one of the biggest things is, why your reputation really matters. And I think when we look at the notion of reputation being kind of the first impression that you have on people, people utilize searches and all different means to be able to make buying decisions nowadays, whether it's choosing a vendor to work with or whether it's choosing a restaurant to go to. Everyone is utilizing some form of a search or a review to really be able to make that decision. And I think one of the biggest things that's often overlooked is people and businesses don't take enough time to really understand all the aspects that are out there online about them. And these are things that can become aspects that really injure your ability to close sales or get more customers into your business. And I think it's something that really needs to be paid more and more attention to. The big aspect is that, negative content really now appears all over. It's not only in Google, where things really started, but it's also in video, it's on social, it's in AI summaries, it's everywhere. So negative content can really follow you all over the digital landscape. And it's something that can really be something that really has a very bad impact on you. And it really does do something in the notion of really being able to look at how that can impact your conversion ratios, how that can impact people coming into your store, and how that can really just impact your brand sentiment overall. Looking at all of these aspects, one of the things we always look at are ratings and reviews and being able to understand all of those things and how people are really kind of pre-qualifying things and, how many, ratings you have and the shifts in, kind of how many stars that you have on there. I always use the reference that, if we're in an area that we've, never really been to before, don't know that well, my wife and I will do some sort of search and we always look at the reviews and, we make a decision based off those reviews on what restaurant we're going to go to. But people have become so savvy. All of us have become so savvy now at really being able to understand the ratings and the reviews. And, right, if somebody has all 5 stars, it makes you go, wait, that doesn't seem right. How can you have, 1,000 reviews and have all 5 stars? It makes people wonder. So the reality of it is, as all of us have done, we're a lot more experienced in being able to understand this process, but everybody is using this process to really be able to influence how they're making some sort of buying decision. One of the aspects that we really look at, because we feel it's kind of one of the areas that we really kind of talk about is like a leak when you look at, when we're working with our clients. People will come to us sometimes, and clients will come to us and say, hey, we're down, our conversion ratios are down, our sales are down. And one of the aspects that we typically look at is, hey, let's make sure we're digging in further on some of the things that are going on with your reviews, some of the things that are going on with the online sentiment about you. So, obviously, one of the things I think happens quite frequently is people have a positive experience, but at somewhere, but they don't take the time to review that. People are way more apt to talk about a negative experience and post that online than they are when they have a good experience. We're all those people, right? We're all the people that go to a restaurant and have a great experience, but we don't think to go back and write a review. But if you go somewhere and you have a really, really bad experience, you might think about doing a review because you want other people to avoid that. Soliciting more feedback from your customers is something that's always going to be very important. Nowadays, people can weed through fake or AI generated reviews. They can also tell what a negative fake review is. So whether you're utilizing it to gain more positive reviews or there's fake negative reviews, people have become a lot more understandable to be able to read through that. But ultimately, when we speak to a lot of clients, they're not even aware of what content is out there online about them. And that's a big part of the problem of not really having an understanding of what information is out there. So having negative reviews that overpower positive sentiment sometimes can just be you don't have enough reviews. Having outdated business listings, old addresses, pictures from 20 years ago, whatever the case might be, that makes your brand look stale. It makes you look as if it's not an operating business. And people, again, will make a decision based on that. Having customers provide feedback and not responding to them can be something that's an opportunity for you to really be able to clarify things. And a lot of times people's opinions can be changed about a business when they're given some sort of positive feedback or at least given some level of feedback irregardless. And nowadays, it appears everywhere. Content is appearing everywhere, and people are finding it in all different aspects. And you're finding it through Google searches. It's appearing on YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, social, AI summaries. Your reputation follows you across every aspect of any digital space right now. And if you're not paying attention to it, believe me, someone else is. So I've talked here for a little bit. I want to turn things over to Sean O'Donnell for a little while. He has something a little bit interactive for us to talk about. And Sean, it's all yours.
All right, thanks, Ken. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us here today. So, like Ken said, a little interactive bit here. if you've taken the interest to join us here today, chances are some of these things may be on your radar, maybe seeing some impact from them. So I'd like to open up a quick poll and see if everybody can give us a quick answer here as to which of these may be, a thorn in your side. So hopefully everybody is seeing that on your screen. If you wouldn't mind picking an answer. By the way, this is totally anonymous, so don't be shy. All right, racking them up here. We'll just give a little bit longer. And I'll share the results here momentarily. All right, anyone else? Going. All right, we'll call it quits there. All right, I will share this so everybody can take a peek here at the results. So, uh, not not surprising. I mean, this looks like a pretty representative mix to the customer stories we hear on a day-to-day basis. Seeing negative reviews here, taking the lead overall. Again, that's not surprising. That is something a lot of companies contend with. Um, it's unfortunate. We work with a lot of great companies and we hear stories every day. Companies do a great job overall and something seemingly trivial, catches them. One angry customer goes and they speak the loudest. I mean, like Ken said, you're more likely. It's the angry customer is 10 times more likely to go out and leave a review than your happy customer. So, and unfortunately, everybody has instant access to one of 10, 20 platforms they can go voice their opinion on from their review platforms to their social to their own website or blog even. A lot to keep track of. Hopefully, we didn't get 100% answers. So, hopefully that means that some of you are sitting there saying, I'm not having any of these yet. And, that's outstanding if that's the case. And hopefully it keeps up. And I mean, the key to keeping that up or getting on the track to, getting past these issues, does come back to being proactive. Obviously, we have our expertise in a lot of the digital tasks and strategies, but, fundamentally, some of your business strategies are really at the root of the reputation side of things. It may sound cliche, but, obviously we're talking about a lot of, negative side, but I mean, just to get on the proactive side here, for a moment, again, your customer service approach and culture throughout the company, can really be night and day difference. I'll share a great experience that I had. We're all dog lovers here. I think we have 8 dogs between the 3 of us. So 3 myself. Chewy, if you're not familiar, it's an online retailer, but constantly ordering food and treats and even medicines and such from them and have subscriptions running. Been using them for years. Mostly great experience, good pricing, super convenient. Had one issue. I, got in contact with them right away. Super helpful, resolved. So it was happy there, but I was really blown away. Totally my own fault. I placed an order and I picked a previous address that I shifted to. I realized it, not too long after placing the order. So, I went and tried to reach out to customer service to see if they could, update the order and correct that. And, they quickly confirmed, unfortunately, it's already in process. We can't make any changes at this point. And without me complaining, without me saying a word, they immediately offered, we're going to refund you for the whole order. And we're going to reach out to the recipient and see if they can donate it to a local shelter. So needless to say, I'm going to be a customer for life unless they do something really horrific. Not apples to apples for all types of businesses can necessarily do something like that. But I mean, it's just a great example I saw of a company that went above and beyond in customer service and also goodwill. Offering that donation to the community. So again, outstanding. We're from Chewy if you have pets. I am not sponsored by Joey by any means. So, again, good example of what a raving customer you can make with good customer service. Um, kind of obvious, but also, your internal customers, your employees, if you keep them happy, they're, way more inclined to, do a good job for your customers keep them happy. A disgruntled employee, I mean, well, as Ken's, initial example, not even an employee, but a would-be employee there, can do massive damage, sometimes worse than a customer. But even the simple things that they can do anonymously, go bash you on Glassdoor, Indeed. I mean, that's something that we deal with every day for many of our clients. People getting scathing reviews on those platforms, and unfortunately, they are very common. But they make real damage. Beyond lost sales, I mean, recruiting has real cost. The all-star candidate who didn't apply to you because you've got these terrible reviews. The time it takes to fill positions has real cost, the advertising. So yeah, things to keep in mind. Um, I can also reference all these places online that you need to be aware of. So monitoring is more important and a little trickier today than ever. I mean, there are some very handy free tools. Google Alerts, very very easy and common. That's good to get you some news and pretty timely, but with all the granular things that can be happening on social media and the other platforms, there's definitely more advanced monitoring tools that can be more effective in those situations and for helping respond to them as well. So Ed with us, I'll talk a little bit more about our processes for those coming up here. um, and again, back to responses, as Ken mentioned, respond to everything. Be in the conversation. Good or bad. In many cases, embracing somebody posting the negative and being prompt and empathetic can go a great long way to getting ahead of a ugly situation. So, since it is the holiday season, we're also in a giving mood today. So we wanted to offer up a free tool that we've created that everybody can, is welcome to visit and, get a quick snapshot of, what your current reputation is looking like. We have created our reputation analyzer here. As part of WebiMax, we call our reputation management the reputation team. So we do have a dedicated site for that. This is a little bit of a long link. I'll post this in the chat here after I'm done, so everybody can just click through to that, make that a little easier. But yeah, if you visit the site, this is the homepage you'll land on, and just a few quick inputs, and you'll be on your way in about 60 seconds to getting some cool insights. So we can look at this as a business or an individual. Individuals, are obviously associated businesses a lot. Ken, our CEO, somebody might be researching him directly as they're considering WebMax. So hopefully they see, all the wonderful news spots he's been on and all of his achievements. But, unfortunately, some people who is the CEO from the Coldplay show that found himself in, not the best situation. So, he might want to come and see what's in the search for him. So, but anyway, plug in your company or your name there with that toggle. This will also let you localize. The tool basically is going to simulate a Google search, and based on this location, the keyword, it will teleport to that location, and it'll show the localized Google results. You're going to get an instant view of this report once you hit submit here, but plug in your email address and you'll get the PDF that you can take with you and share with your colleagues and such as well. So the right side, it will give you some of the output here, give you some ideas for the types of insights you'll get immediately. Again, this is simulating that Google search and analyzing the sentiment of everything on page one. Obviously people are impatient. They are looking at that AI review. They're looking at page one of Google. 92% of people aren't moving beyond there. So they're, biased and making decisions quickly. So we can see in that middle bucket there, our results breakdown. Looking at our top 10 rankings, the tool also scans the content of each of those pages and compares the business name or individual name to the context of the topics of the article, and does an analysis of whether it's positive, negative, or neutral. So you'll see those three buckets there. We also pull in Google reviews where those are present. So based on that combination of scores, you see the overall reputation score up top, 73 out of 100. Could be better. The rating is this is a good reason we can do a follow-up analysis with anybody who's interested to kind of talk through the very detailed granular aspects of this. But obviously the ratings are weighted. A negative piece of content in position 1 is dramatically more impactful than in 8, 9, 10. Again, with those people not scrolling and obviously valuing the things that they're seeing at the top of the page most. So, a negative number 1 could, tank your score 30 points alone. So more negatives, lower score, obviously. So this is also going to give you some actionable insight. It's going to give you the call outs for, each of the things that, may be problematic. So you can see, we've got some sample ones on here, respond to unanswered Google reviews, create an FAQ page. Again, with the prevalence of AI, you're not showing up in 100% of search results, but, when they are, influencing what those are showing, FAQs are definitely something that they find very resourceful and get cited a lot. So, yeah, we hope you'll take the time and visit. Again, I'll post this link in the chat here before the end of the webinar here. So hopefully everybody can visit and take a look at where you're standing currently, and let us know if there's anything you'd like us to walk you through, explain further, or give you some assistance with. But I am going to pass it over to Ed to take you through some of our solutions.
Great. Thanks, Sean. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Next up is our reputation lift system. So these are the 6 pillars that we put in place that majority of experts in our industry use across all industries that need reputation management, starting with review authentication, listing restoration, cross-platform rating balance, professional response system, verified review generation, search result sentiment. A lot of people don't necessarily understand how soon or how quick a negative piece of information can come online. Why sometimes it takes a little while for the positives that we're producing, we're building, actually start pushing or burying that negative. The fact is, not all content is created equally. What we have to look at are different signals. Where's that content coming from? How long has it been online? A review, what does that review say? The weight of that review. All those things we have to take a look at and actually create, develop, and then actually execute that plan of what's needed to start changing your digital landscape. The great thing is, and the one thing that we constantly stress, is custom strategies for all. Not all plans are created equal. What we do is we'll work with you to build out a custom strategy based on things that you're already executing on your side, and us backfilling what's needed in order to change those results. We do have confidentialities with all of our clients. We want to protect all of our clients. Reputation isn't something always fun or joyful to talk about. So with the next couple of slides here, we built out some case studies. The first one is around an international medical tourism company. So just from that alone, you can imagine not necessarily a very trustworthy industry, if you will. So this client of ours partnered with us in some of their concerns. They had negative results in Google search, poor star ratings on different review sites, overall weak presence in, again, that untrusted industry. So executing our services, rolling out our strategies, in the first 90 days, we've seen an 86% increase in 5-star reviews. This client specifically, they weren't asking their clients for any type of feedback. They weren't asking their clients for a quick survey, and then hoping that that client would actually leave a review. You know, that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, right? So what we were doing is, after they were done with their clients, actually we executed a strategy for them to send a survey to their clients asking for that feedback. Then at that point saying, hey, here's our Google review. If you enjoyed service that much, please leave a review on our profile or Facebook or Yelp, whatever it is that they were looking for as far as a specific profile. So those are just some of the things that we can look to do. The next client is actually in the fintech consulting space. So this client, they came to us, as Ken mentioned earlier. Negative content can be found in a vast different ways, right? So this client actually had negative results around Google News results. So when they went to Google, search for their brand, but more specifically, when you clicked in that news section from strong PR related sources. So what we did for them was we released a positive press release campaign. We actually claimed and optimized all their business listings, created brand and industry specific content to boost their authority. And within 5 months, we actually had page 1 and the news section cleared of all negative results. The next slide just represents some industry-based statistics for us to take a look at. So you can see retail, restaurants, food chains, real estate. If you look here, retail, some of our retail clients have seen a 20% increase in store visits after improving their overall star rating. And again, not every industry is going to be created equal as far as their typical client looks at. Google reviews might outweigh a Yelp review in one industry. Auto platforms, when you're looking to buy a car or lease a new car, those reviews, Auto Trader, et cetera, might be a little more heavily weighted in that industry over a Google review. So working with us is, again, we want to look at every corner of the internet for you to make sure you get a good understanding of where your negative content is, more importantly, where that positive content is, and then actually execute on that strategy for you. So a lot of times we're asked, when can we start seeing results? When can we start expecting results? With our 6-pillar system, we can start seeing results all within that 6 to 8 week program. Some of the things that we want to benchmark and make sure that our clients are seeing, you can see, anywhere from a 0.3 to a full 2-star, 2.5-star increase in their overall digital platforms that have reviews, higher search visibility, balanced reviews. A lot of times individuals or businesses forget about one review platform or another. They're so focused on Google or Google Business, they're not paying attention to their Yelp reviews or to their Glassdoor, Indeed reviews, as Sean mentioned earlier, et cetera. So we want to look and actually execute specific strategies for each one of those review platforms. With bettering your overall digital landscape, majority of our clients have seen fewer complaints coming in as well, all equaling higher conversion without paying Google or any other type of additional ad spend. Great. So as we were saying, we have that great analyzer platform on Reputation Team, but for all of our attendees today, we are offering a free visibility scan and consultation with either myself, Ken, Sean, and our 2 other team members, Danielle and CJ. We're all here to help out. So to book us, there's a few different ways. Feel free to call us. Feel free to send us an email. Sean will be dropping that link right in there, but I am going to turn it over to Ken for some closing remarks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I appreciate Sean and Ed. Great job explaining things. One point I wanted to make that Ed talked about a little bit, kind of the timing to see results. All of our clients come to us and when it's a crisis, they're looking for something that can really alleviate that pain very quickly. And, yes, when we talk about 6 to 8 weeks, some of that is the fact that, Google and the search engines take a little bit of time to recognize some of these changes. But I can tell you along with that, some of the work that we do can have impact to lessen some of the challenge that you're dealing with in days, not weeks. And a big facet around what we do is we really kind of treat these campaigns almost like a triage type situation. We look at the areas that we can have immediate impact on, where we can come in and we can see something with a change that can really go into work within a day, where you are starting to see some benefit from that. So while you look at kind of things from a larger scale and a time frame, working with us also enables you to see some aspects that really provide you with almost immediate relief to some of the scenarios. And depending upon the situation, we have different approaches. Some things are crisis, some things are a legacy comment that's been online. All of these aspects are things that we work with, and we have a very clear and transparent approach to how we're going to be able to work with you. So I just wanted to clarify that while things can take 6 to 8 weeks to be really clear, you can see immediate impact from a lot of the work that we do, and things that we're being able to put into place are really going to help you very quickly. And I think that that's something that for us, and understanding the dynamic of when customers come to us with these pain points, it's something that we take to heart. People come to us and have concerns, and they have issues that they need fixed, and having the ability to get involved and being able to help them see some positive results to that right away is something that we're really proud of, and something that we take a lot of pride in being able to deliver. So from our standpoint, this is the core of what we wanted to kind of present today. So I appreciate everybody joining. I think, Sean, you mentioned that you might be able to open it up to some potential Q&A here for us to try to answer any questions that might be on anyone's mind right off the bat.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody mouses over the Zoom um, toolbar. You will see there is a Q&A section. So if there is anybody who has any questions for any of us, please pop those in, and we'll be happy to field those. All right. Well, not as much as activity as we saw on the poll earlier, but let's see. The one just came through here. Are there any sources for Google items that you can help?
So sure, there's definitely areas where there's certain content that when we really look at it, there's instances where people will come to us, and businesses will come to us, and their content that's online, and they say, "Hey, we want this removed." And the reality of it is, in some cases, something that's a government, a .gov website, a news story from a very reputable news company. These are things that just can't kind of be deleted, right? As a business, we're not able to kind of change history, but what we are able to do in many cases is really be able to kind of suppress a lot of that information and put it to a spot where Sean kind of alluded to earlier, where people don't really see it, or where it's not as visible. In other cases, there are instances where I would say, and Ed, back me up on this, right? We remove hundreds of pieces of content daily from our clients and from different situations, and a lot of that really goes into the dynamic of that content, where it appears. Was it a review? Did it basically violate any types of terms and conditions on that platform? So with all those things said, yes, of course, there's instances where we have to take an approach to do things one way compared to the other. But at the end of the day, we will always be transparent and let you know how we're approaching something and how we're able to make that work. It's a good question, because I think that's something that comes up all the time. Ed, you wanted to add something to that?
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Absolutely. So, as Ken said, there are times that we can have content physically removed, depending on where the site is housed, meaning in the US, you have to adhere to US laws, ICANN laws. If it's a overseas site, that's going to lessen the chance of content removal. We have to look and see what the host terms and conditions are, where the site's hosted, what's their cyberbullying policies, etc. So there are ways that we reverse engineer to see where it's at, and if there are means for us to report it. We'd love for it to happen instantly. Sometimes we're at that mercy of those platforms getting back to us. Same thing with Google reviews. If you point back to the time at the beginning of the pandemic, what happened was Google actually stopped publishing Google reviews because people were saying, "Oh, I went to Ed's restaurant last night and I woke up today with COVID," and Google didn't even know how to kind of objectively say, "Is this legit? Is this not legit?" So now they've instituted a very good process to allow agencies, et cetera, to be able to report reviews because they're outside of their terms of use, terms of service, terms of posting, that everyone agrees to, and they create that Gmail account to utilize their platform. So those are all things that we look at, that we do see if we can get content removed. I took a call earlier this morning before today's presentation. Unfortunately, fortunately for this gentleman, he has expungement documents. Unfortunately, if anyone's familiar with that, expungement documents don't necessarily say news reporting agencies need to destroy said records. Court reporting and police reporting agencies need to delete said records. So we take it a step further and look at what news has that negative info, what the case is, et cetera, and then see what we can do and plan from there. So that's the real big thing with us, is we're going to take this on very consultative type of approach, and execute the best strategy that we see fit, and bring those 20 plus years of experience to the table.
One of the other questions that came through was related to content appearing on the New York Times. So obviously, the New York Times is one of the most well-known publications out there. So when we deal with some of those instances, obviously the dynamic of that content, we would need to look at the nature of it, right? Whether it was a story that was presented that maybe had incorrect facts, or it was a story about a situation that maybe was factual but negative in some capacity. So both of those two things would really, in our opinion, determine the approach that we would have. We really look at things from an approach of, our first ultimate option that we always prefer to address is removal. But removal in some cases is impossible. So then we look at options around redaction, right? There's a whole article that has a few sentences that are concerning. Perhaps there's an opportunity for that content to be redacted for some reason. The other option beyond that is suppression. And suppression tends to be the way that we typically get things started, because there can be a long process to really have a back and forth dialogue with any type of news publisher that's out there. And there's means and ways that we go about that through the standards process that we have to be able to try to approach that. But suppression is something that can see almost immediate value in being able to work with that. So yes, we have a lot of experience with the New York Times and all major publications looking at content and information. And obviously every case is a little bit unique and customized. So when we look at that, again, our process is really to give you a quick snapshot and understanding, and really be very transparent around our process and how we might be able to address that level of information. But I think, make no mistake, we have a process and a plan for everyone, regardless of where that content appears. We're reading another one here.
Well, while Sean and Ken are reading that one, just to echo some of those pieces, that's through our onboarding process. When we identify all the negative content that's online for you, your company, you as an individual, et cetera, we then do kind of a fact-finding strategy and approach of what's the viability of having a piece of content removed. What have you already done on your side? Have you made outreach, et cetera? What type of documents we have? Because sometimes you only have one swing at the plate, right? To make that case to those publishers, to those news websites. So at that point in time, we want to make sure that we understand everything fully, and then go in and make that submission. Sean, Ken, that next question.
I'll address that, sure. So the question was really about mugshots and the notion around whether law enforcement and media agencies should remove those. In my opinion, there's almost become an industry around mugshots, right? Where being public record, there's sites out there that just promote them, so someone comes and pays a fee to have them removed. As far as the legality of it, and whether or not agencies should be able to remove them, I think it's probably and again, I'm not claiming to be an attorney, but I think it probably goes back to some of the other situations that we deal with from time to time. And as Ed referenced, there can be situations that happen. They can be something that was negative. They could be something that was cleared up. But when they're made, in a public record type scenario like that, some of those things aren't removed or don't fall under that. So we deal with mugshots, quite frequently, and we know all the quote unquote players in that arena, in that industry, and how that kind of works. And it's an area that I would say we have a tremendous success in being able to help people with. So another question, sorry, I'm reading the questions. That's why we're pausing. Um, So sometimes fake reviews, competitors posting fake reviews. Yes, this is an issue that unfortunately comes up quite frequently. And again, it's something that we will be able to help do diligence on to try to determine where those are coming from and being able to challenge those. The reality of it is, unfortunately, this is something that goes on quite frequently. And the value around that is, as I spoke about earlier, with the fact that consumers have become a lot more savvy around some of the different aspects when looking at reviews. So have the review platforms. They've begun to understand that these things take place where, maybe 10 years ago, it was just everything was treated equally. Now things are really have evolved to the fact that the review platforms understand that things like this go on. They understand that there's the potential for people to post negative things that are completely false and they're just done to damage your business. So yes, there are ways that we're able to address that and look at that and try to make those determinations. And admittedly, one of the biggest ways to really be able to do that is, I think oftentimes as business owners, right, you're able to look at a review and say, none of this is true. This never happened. This isn't this isn't something that happened within my business. And it gives us an opportunity to really be able to refine and look at the ones that you feel are ultimately false and fake, and being able to approach those and deal with those. So I think that, yes, that's something that we see, come to us quite frequently, and is something that, again, I would say nowadays has even more chance to be resolved than it did a while ago, because the review platforms recognize that this has become something that is a lot more common in just in general, I guess, in society.
And that's why it's important to make sure you, as the business owner, are claiming all those profiles. They're your babies, right? You want them claimed. If you're working with an agency such as WebiMax, another agency out there, you have an employee that set those up, you want to be the ones to make sure that you own them. So this way, should agency not be here tomorrow, you have complete control. You can grant access to other people, but also monitoring those new reviews coming in. And as Sean said earlier, make sure that you're responding to them. That's a big piece. People pay attention to that. We're all human, right? Everyone's going to have a bad day. Everyone's going to have an off day. It's okay if you get that 3-star review, right? Because maybe you just weren't on your A game that day, but the acknowledgement of it. Hey, so sorry about, XYZ waitress yesterday. Please come in. We'd like to make it up to you. People pay attention to how you respond to a negative review just as much as how many positive reviews you have. So as far as competitors, it's always good just to make sure that you're responding to all those reviews coming in as well.
The next question we got is really around proactive and reactive reputation management. So definitely the majority of people we speak to on reputation management are reactive, right? There's something that has taken place, there's content, there's some sort of crisis situation that's going on, and they're reacting to that. They need to have some solution for it. That tends to be the dynamic of what we do typically with reputation management. I will say that over probably the last several months, we have started to see an uptick in people kind of looking at things from a proactive approach. Hey, we're not really facing any type of reputation issues today, but how do we make sure that we're going through the process to clean up things? Maybe make sure all of our business listings are updated, doing some other aspects that are really going to ensure that we kind of have the right level of information that's out there. So in some of the cases when you talk about being proactive, it's, I would say that probably blends a little bit in with some of our marketing services because there's not really a negative any negative context really related to your brand. It's really more a positive marketing approach. So that's really the difference between the proactive and the reactive. Yes, the majority of our business in reputation management is really reactive. People are reacting to a situation and reacting to something that happened, or they're dealing with content that continues to be a problem for them. One of the situations that we see from time to time is, we'll have clients that will work with us, and they'll see results, and kind of things get to the point where they're kind of cleared up, and something happens, excuse me, and that content reappears, right, where it becomes more visible again, and ultimately that's a scenario that we always want to kind of be able to work with and make sure that things are always going to be put you in a position that you're continuing to see the benefit from that.
And remember, proactive reputation management begins day one when you open that business. You'll be shocked how many people come to us and say, hey, like I can't be found online, or I had this small little speed bump from a reputation and that's all that's showing. When we do that deep dive, you create your business Facebook page, you forget to customize it. So it still says profile ID and a whole bunch of characters. So now you're losing value of having that strong domain authority of Facebook ranking on page one, your company LinkedIn, all those things. So keep SEO a little bit in mind when you're setting up your own profiles from Jump Street with the best strategies, the best approach. That goes and impacts your reputation for a long way.
And I guess just kind of to close things up, obviously there might be more questions, there might be more feedback. Feel free to reach out to us, follow up with us, let us know if there's anything else that you want to discuss or have us follow up with you on. As I say, we really have become, involved in the reputation management space, and we've learned it from the ground up, and it's one of the more rewarding services that we can really provide because oftentimes people really do come to us in a situation that they have a lot of anxiety over. It's causing them problems. It's hurting their business, or it's hurting them personally. And the ability for us to really be able to step in and have positive results for them quickly is rewarding to us as a business to be able to do that. So we will always give you, a very transparent approach to how we can handle things for you and give you visibility into what our process would be. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of experience in this space, and we'd certainly appreciate any feedback. But it's been our pleasure to host you today. For Ed and Sean, just wanted to say thank you, and hopefully we hear from everybody soon. But thanks for joining us, and look for more information. We're going to look to try to do some more webinars here coming up on some other services as well. So please feel free to rejoin us again. But thank you very much. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you.